Come on, baby. Oh, got her. Nice fish right there.
Whoa! Yes! That's what I'm talking about, baby!
Welcome everyone to the Polaris FLW studios for our post-tournament highlight show. I'm Travis Moran, joined once again here with Red Gold Tomatoes Pro, Todd Hollowell. Todd, it's been a great third stop for the 2019 FLW Tour at beautiful Lake Seminole. Why don't you break down this body of water?
Yeah, 37,000 acres fed by the Flint River to the east, the Chattahoochee to the west, Spring Creek running down the middle. We've got the main lake basin. Anglers spread out all over this fishery, full of big bass, and guys really found their own area on Lake Seminole this week.
Yeah, these anglers really spread out, kind of found their own thing, but there were some tactics they had to really figure out, which, why don't you break down the TH Marine roadmap to victory?
Yeah, really three keys to the top of the leaderboard this week. One was capitalizing on that early morning bite. A lot of guys talked about it, very typical in the pre-spawn. The second thing was bites were at a premium this week. They had to capitalize on every bite that they got. They had to execute, put them in the boat, and then last, find a way to get into a new gear. A lot of these areas, the fish were not replenishing. People had to, some of these guys had to move around. Some guys just had to really figure out their area better and better each day. But finding the next gear, those were the keys to make it to the top of the leaderboard this week at Seminole.
And 165 anglers fished day one and day two of this 4-day event. But then day three, we cut to our top 30. And after a short delay due to fog, these anglers were ready to head out on the water.
See your family and friends standing up there, nothing beats it. Mainly what I've been doing all week is throwing this chatterbait. The fish have totally knocked the paint off the head. There's teeth marks on the blade. And that's another thing why I think I'm catching fish on this particular chatterbait is it's got that gold blade to it. Big and dude, giant. Oh, not a giant, but hey. There he is. I seen that fish on the graph, dude. That's a giant. Oh my gosh. Oh, it is. It's a big one too. Stay on, baby. Stay on. Stay on, Lord. Oh. Oh. This 21-year-old is about to have a heart attack. Yes. Whew. Hey, give me some, man. Yes.
Man, I'm ready to feel one hit this thing. 8-inch lizard catching 8-inch fish. Guaranteed. Oh well.
You know, with the hurricane coming through here and blowing everything out, I just kind of threw everything out the window and started over. You know, a fish is a fish, and they're going to get in those same areas regardless of what it looks like. You just got to figure out where because they've repositioned themselves because of the storm. Did you see me hesitate that thing? Oh, you talk about practicing what you preach. How about that for a clinic? Huh. How about that?
Braxton Setzer made that adjustment, moved to a worm first thing in the morning, and it really paid off for him.
You want to talk about capitalizing on the morning bite and that fog delay, those low light conditions. Braxton Setzer fishing an offshore highway, fish coming and going from where they're going to spawn in a big backwater area, connecting with big groups of fish and charging up the leaderboard. Awesome morning for Braxton Setzer.
My main area is a ditch, a drain that runs up into this flat. And, you know, it's a couple feet, you know, at 7-8 foot on each side of it, and the ditch isn't very wide. It may be, you know, a cast across it. And towards the back of the ditch, there is just a clean spot. And those fish are using that as a highway coming into that flat to spawn and coming back out. I've seen some post-spawn fish there as well. And basically the way I've been fishing it has been just dragging a worm in it. Fishing real slow. Come on, baby. Come up here.
Coming into Seminole, I was really excited. I've fished here a bunch of times. I came up through the BFLs, the Everstart series, and that was always on the schedule every year. So I've been here 7 or 8 times prior to here. So my confidence level was really good here. I already knew that the fish, what stage they were going to be in, so I was confident in the areas that I was going to spend time in, and that's really a key part of fishing on Lake Seminole.
Come on, that hydrilla, baby. Look at that thing. Look at that big old thing, dude. Where you at? Where you at?
Yes! That's what I'm talking about, baby! Heck yeah! That's what I'm talking about! Check that out, baby! That's what I'm talking about! Wow! Look at that thing! Yes! 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 Spinning rod, baby! Don't tell me you can't catch a big one on a spinning rod. Dude, that's the biggest one I caught all week right there. Ooh.
The FLW Tour is brought to you by Costa, Ranger Boats, Evinrude, Polaris, Yeti, and by TH Marine.
Oh yes, I'm fishing tomorrow! Yes, 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 yes!
5 bass limit. He lives to fish another day. Is that what Chris Jones says?
As they weighed him in at the end of day 3, Braxton Setzer was our big mover, jumping all the way from 10th place to 2nd, while Bradford Beavers fell almost completely out of contention. But the name that everyone was talking about was Brian Latimer.
B-Lat, as he's known on tour, made a huge adjustment on day 3. He had started out this event fishing a current break up the Flint River. It didn't pan out for him on day 2. He stumbled onto this flat that was full of hydrilla and milfoil and went all in on it on day 3. Got some really key bites and ended up catching 23 pounds to charge up to the top of the leaderboard.
And day 4, we cut down to our top 10 anglers that were going to be competing for our final day and up to $125,000.
Every day of the tournament, I've spent about an hour or 2 fishing the Flint River. I'm not really sure what I had going on in the first 2 days, but I know it wasn't working. So I decided not to waste any time. So today I went straight to the goods. I didn't want to waste any time. I wanted to spend as much time as I could in the productive water.
Now that fish looks to be a little bit post-spawnish. But the first fish of the morning. Woosah.
When things aren't going right, you know kind of the ebb and flow of the area that you're fishing. And I hadn't caught a 12-inch fish since I don't know how many casts I made in that area. I was fishing up the Chattahoochee River, and there was some other area that I had further up, and I went up there and caught one, and it was same deal. You know, they just weren't chasing anything.
Versatility is what I want to be known for, and today it was fun because I was versatile. Fished my gut, fished my instinct, really thought it through, looked at the weather, looked at what the weather had been the last couple days, and I feel like I made a good decision. Even though I didn't catch any real giants, I still got those valuable points for Forest Wood Cup and moving up the leaderboard, a little extra money.
Oh, got her. Not as big as I thought, but still a good one, over 3.5 or so. Look at that. They think that little thing's a little bluegill.
super lightweight, 15-pound P-line. You gotta sometimes just go lightweight. Nice fish right there.
Well, we pulled up here right off the bat this morning. Caught one pretty quick. Hope I can just get them going again and start catching them fast and furious like I did yesterday. I know there's more here. That's a good way to start.
Nice fish right there.
Absolutely beautiful conditions to start out day 4, and Braxton Setzer couldn't have asked for a better start. But there was another name ready to answer back.
Sheldon Collins just turned 21 years old from Grove, Oklahoma. Hey, he was fishing down by the dam on an offshore hump using a vibrating jig with some scattered grass around it, using his electronics and really set down on one area. He committed to this area for the whole tournament. He said, this is the only place I have. I'm staying there all day, every day. He was looking for a window of opportunity. On day 3, that window of opportunity came in the afternoon. He did all of his damage after lunchtime. But on day 4, he had a great morning also.
Got one. Big one. Oh my gosh, giant. Oh God, bless America, Sheldon. Calm down. That is how you start off the 4th day. Lake Seminole, baby. There's another one. Big one. Dude, oh my gosh, giant. Boom! Woo! I can't even breathe right now. There's another one. Oh my gosh. Let's keep her. I got to keep getting back out there. These fish are fired up this morning.
In the bottom of this little depression, there is an area that is sand. It's a clean spot, it's sand. The grass doesn't grow there. And if I could make a cast down the line where the hydrilla met the sand, that was the cast that I needed to make to feel like where I felt like most of the fish were sitting. Of course, I did pick some off out, you know, roaming on the clean spot, and I caught a few out of the grass. I tried to really milk that area today and fished around there for quite a while. But you know, that one cast is pretty much where all the magic happened on day 1 and yesterday.
Well, number 5. There's only one way to go from here, and that's up, Bubba.
Keep fishing around, and I get my first really true bite. I set the hook on it. It's a daggum giant. Set the hook up, got him coming. Comes up to the surface, it's well over 5 pounds, and I got him fighting. I'm thinking it's over because he was buried up in the milfoil. I get him out, comes to the surface, and he just comes off.
That's freaking... Oh!
I know I'm not getting a lot of bites. I know 5 or 6 bites a day is really realistic. I know I got to capitalize on it. It was pretty devastating because I know I got to make this count. I have to make it count. And losing any fish at all is detrimental. But to lose a big one is going to make me lose this tournament.
There's still good fish here, so I don't need to stress about it. It's just going to take a lot more work today. There he is. If I can put every fish in the boat that bites today, I could win this tournament.
It's never an easy decision to try to figure out whether to leave fish, to go try to find fish. And I stayed there the majority of the day because I really felt like to catch another, you know, 22 to 25 pounds, which is what I thought I was going to have to make a run at this, and that was the place that I felt like I could do it. You know, obviously there's a group of fish there. The size The size of the group that was there yesterday, on average, was really good. Today it dipped a little, but you know it's hard to leave biting fish to go. That's like #1 rule in bass fishing: don't leave fish to find fish. So
I was getting ready to leave. I was done. I was like, not leave for the day, but just take a break.
It's barely over. It's barely over. God loves me. God loves me. Oh my freaking God, dude. I missed 3 of them, but look at that hook. He wasn't coming off. Dude, that's a freaking giant. That thing almost pulled me in the lake, dude. Did you see? I couldn't even. I tried to go back and get the net. It was like, no, boy, you got to go this way. Ah! Yes! That's what's out here. And I feel one tugging on it. I set the hook on it. Another nice 3-pound fish or so. That gives me 3. It can happen quick. It can happen in just one little head of milfoil. You can catch 2 fish just bang, bang. So I'm waiting on that magic to happen. Every day I've had these little flurries that have gotten me into the lead this far, and that's all I'm waiting on.
As day 4 went along, it was becoming clear it was a 3-man race between Braxton Setzer, Sheldon Collins, and Brian Latimer. We'll have more of our post-tournament highlight show for the FLW Tour presented by Costa Sunglasses.
The FLW Tour is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops, Lowrance, Real Tree Fishing, Power Pole, Mercury, Triton Boats, and by Nitro Boats.
Sheldon Collins had talked about he only had 1 spot and he was going to stick with it.
I'm a really big chatterbait fisherman. That's one of my favorite things to throw, especially if you're fishing grass down here in the south. This is a great rod for throwing a buzzbait, square bill, chatterbait. If you're throwing a chatterbait, try throwing a glass rod. It helps tremendously on your fish catch ratio. Biggin, biggin. Lord, please let this fish stay on. About to see him. Oh boy. Oh my gosh. Biggest one I've hooked all week. Woo! Yes! Oh my gosh, man. Oh. Woo! Yes! Oh my gosh. That is how you turn it around. Just fell out. Instinctually, you want to run around and try to run into a big one, but I think it's the way this place is fishing, it's not that easy just to go fishing and run into a big one. I'm sure, you know, somebody with more knowledge of this place could potentially do that. But I'm just kind of committed to this area and we're chipping away at making this a little interesting.
As every angler on tour knows, just as easily as things can go right, they can also go wrong for you. And Latimer really struggled on that final day.
You know, we talked about capitalizing on opportunities, and Brian lost a couple of key fish during this day. The question was, could he get enough bites to overcome those lost fish on day 4?
Yeah, baby! He said I didn't leave nothing on the table.
They made me stressed today, man. God, I've never been so stressed in my life. At least I know I got 5. All I know is I gave it all I got. I gave it every last bit of what I had today.
As the anglers came to the scales, tensions were high for what was sure to be a momentous weigh-in.
You know, the community around Bainbridge, Georgia really showed up for this event, and Lake Seminole showed up full of big bass. We were really impressed with the weights from Lake Seminole this week.
From 165 anglers across 4 days of fishing, it came down to 2 men in their quest for their first FLW Tour victory.
This is showtime. You ready to get this thing done?
Put them on the scales, boy.
Wow! A 5 bass limit. You need 19.2 for the win. Here we go. A 5 bass limit for South Carolina's Brian Latimer, worth 21 pounds, 3 ounces. Your champion is Brian Latimer. Wow! Woo!
And I'm just so glad that I kept going because my wife is standing right here. My mom, my dad, they know of course, all I ever wanted to do was fish. That's all I ever wanted to do. The $100,000 is great, but that right there is so awesome.